Hi everybody, Leo here from leosgolf.com, and today I'd like to go through and show you something a little bit different. I've got a Garmin R10 on the floor behind me here and a ProTee VX launch monitor up in the ceiling. And the goal of today's video is to help folks who've asked this question time and time again about, gee, what are the major differences between an entry-level model and a more advanced launch monitor? I think what you're going to see is you're going to see difference especially in spin numbers, shot shape, in certain scenarios, and the differences between the two launch monitors and their capabilities in reading such shots. They'll typically happen when the shots are off center, meaning off the center of the club, and one launch monitor does a better job than the other, of reading things like how the ball came off the club face and calculating things like what we call torque, or I guess more commonly known as gear effect. So gear effect is a huge one because your shot can start one way and then come out another across the center line. So for now, just sit back, relax, and I'll try to give you as much information as I can as I go through the video. Okay, so first club I'm going to choose is a 7-iron. You'll see here on the screen this is the ProTee VX ProTee Labs. If I double click, you can see its range. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to pick a 7-iron. Now I'll reduce it temporarily again. Come back here, do the same thing. In GS Pro, I'm going to pick a 7-iron. And to clarify, so the Garmin R10 will be displaying its shots in GS Pro versus the ProTee Labs' VX and the built-in range. So I'll bring that back up. Slide it back down to the bottom here. And we're going to key in on a few things, but we have club speed, carry, how much we're offline, maybe the total distance, although roll can be different in a different range setting. And then backspin and side spin, along with perhaps a spin axis percentage, although I don't think that'll display for the R10, but certainly we can see side spin and backspin displayed up here in GS Pro. There's your side spin and backspin. Okay, so let's go. Grab a ball here. I'll just make sure they both have 7-iron, which I think I did set. And away we go. So I'm just gonna get some light shots. Cold here in Ontario, so not sure what we're gonna get here for the first few shots especially. All right, bit of a pull. Almost hitting 150 with that. It's saying here on the Garmin that using GS Pro up top there, that I've got a carry of about 132 in game, 132 raw. Over here, ProTee VX, we see 136.5. Club speed 74.2 versus 72.5, so not too bad. Backspin 48.59 on the ProTee and 42.06 on the Garmin. Side spin of only 126 to the right with the ProTee and 196 to the right side spin on the Garmin. So not too bad. I'll show you the difference in shot shape. So here it is for the Garmin. And now for the ProTee, we'll go to the range. And there's your shot shape. So pretty similar. No arguments here. I don't think anybody would really argue about there being too much different. Okay, next shot. See if I can produce a little bit of a different shot shape for you. Okay, so this should go to the left, and it did. You kind of see that like a, I guess a push, if you will. And backspin, 8,000 versus 71. Start to see a bit of a difference there. Club speed 72, that's great. Carry, well, 100 yards versus about 105 in the Garmin app. Still pretty good. Let's take a look at the shot shape. Again, similar. Offline, here's an interesting one. So 13.5 yards to the left offline on the ProTee versus on the Garmin, we're seeing offline of only 6 yards. So it's making you a little bit better golfer. And again, I would say that that's the spin, that it's not quite picking up the same. Side spin $29.97 on the ProTee VX, only $5.32 on the Garmin. Very important. Okay, I'll hit another one. Try to make it spinny as well. That should be. You see, once again, showing you kind of a push, showing me 846 side spin. Look at the side spin on the VX, 4,200. Now, I assure you, I opened up the face on that, and it would have gone way left and spun with an arc. So let's see what that shot shape does actually look like in the range. And there it is, okay. Offline, 24.2 yards versus 14 yards. So, you know, close to 50% different. Well, some will argue double. So, again, you're seeing the differences right away, even just with a 7-iron. Try one, and see if I can pull it back the other way here. That sure did. I really pulled it. So now this should be really interesting. Side spin of only 78 on the VX. So let's see what that shot shape looks like. This looks like a straight pull. Side spin over here, where are we? Sorry, of 643. So let's pull up the VX. And there it is. So it did a pretty good job of showing the pull. All right. Offline 32.6 yards versus offline 34. So pretty good. So that to me indicates I really just pulled the heck out of that shot. I don't know if I can actually get one to hook. Let me see if I can get one to hook. I think this one might have. So 4.9 yards offline. Yardage, let's look at a couple numbers here. So total length 128, raw 111 versus 117. You know what? Yeah, 5-6 yard difference, but still not crazy. Now 4.9 yards offline on the VX, 9.9 yards offline on the Garmin. So that's interesting. Backspin 5,900, side spin 928 on the VX versus a side spin of 198 on the Garmin. So here we are, 9.9 offline versus 4.9. Let me show you that shot. And there it is. Here are where the subtleties come in. So gear effect came into play here, and you can see how the trajectory shows the ball coming up, outright, and then coming back towards the center, almost like, you know, a baby fade, if you will. So again, especially a more advanced player, you're going to appreciate that a launch monitor like the VX can pick up those subtleties, whereas an entry-level unit just cannot. Okay, I'm going to move on, I think, now to something like a hybrid. So let me change up clubs. Come up here. I'm going to select a 3 hybrid, and we'll come down to the R10. We're also going to select a hybrid, and let's face these two off now. Okay, I assure you this is going to get super interesting now. Okay. So first shot, let's see what happens here. Now I tend to slice. You've seen my videos, you know that for sure. So I'll hit one here. Okay, so there's Garmin showing, you know, you could argue a slice, but more of a push. Side spin 3000, which sure is a slice on the VX. Backspin 59.95. I'll show you the trajectory in a minute. Interestingly, look, Garmin 752, excuse me, side spin, backspin 6011. Pretty close, you know, no argument that it's doing a good job with backspin. Side spin, a different animal. Where this becomes key, of course, you're playing simulator golf. Okay, the VX is showing you at 28.2 yards offline to the left versus the Garmin's trying to tell you that, excuse me, you are, where is it here? Only 14 yards. So again, about double. You know, I think that's really important when you play simulator golf. Are you still getting an indication with the Garmin? Sure you are, and you're going to have lots of fun. And, you know, it's going to maybe make you a little better golfer, perhaps. But not going to quite give you that detail that some people will be looking for when they are indoors for the off season. Let me show you the shot shape. There you go. You can really see the slice. You know, kind of speaks for itself. If the ball's wound up way over here as opposed to about half the width. Okay, I'll hit another one. So that one's low. I topped it and, you know, rolled up to 150, let's say here, 160 almost, 150 something with the Garmin, showing me a kind of baby fade, although it was a top shot. Backspin only 2400, that's indicative of topping it. Side spin only 285 to the left. So the ball, you know, really came out to the right and then kind of drew its way back towards center left. And it's showing you offline. That shot would have, according to the Garmin, finished about 4.5 yards to the right of your target. Now, let's go to the VX. Look at the difference, folks. Huge. It's wound up over here, 15.5 yards offline to the left for topping that ball. Look at the side spin, 62.41 and backspin 25.59. I'll close that window again. Again, backspin, pretty good, no argument, but look at the side spin, 62.41, 285. Now, if you want to argue, well, gee, maybe that's not an accurate number with the VX, I would really contest that and say, no, it is. In fact, I'm going to hit one more here where I really open up the face to show you, and we'll show it first maybe on the VX. And there she goes. That's way off to the left. I've got side spin of 44.93, and it's telling me I'm offline 44.4 yards, and I absolutely 100% believe it was that wide. You know, I wasn't going for shot power here, so it's not very far. It's only carried about 135 yards. Okay, so here we go. Now I'm going to show you the Garmin's results. And there we go. Showing you you're only 20 yards. Again, about a half of the value compared to the VX. Club speed still there, 86.9 versus 85. Backspin, well, a little more on the Garmin this time around, 62 versus 54. Key, there it is, the side spin, 44.93 versus 791. I don't think you can dispute that that shot sliced way left. And I think that's a really, really good example of the difference between the two units. Of course, there's a huge price difference in the two, so it's totally understandable. I just want people to understand what they're getting into when they purchase a launch monitor and kind of trying to temper their expectations. The Garmin's a great device for its price. It'll give you some solid data, certainly a good indication of your shot shape, but not the accuracy level that perhaps, you know, I'm going to say even a novice golfer to intermediate golfer and above would want if they're playing indoor simulation golf. But you can still learn a lot about your swing. So, you know, an $800 device Canadian, versus an $8,800 device, hey, tenfold, absolutely. So something has to come with that price tag, and it sure does. So it really just depends on what you're looking for. If you're playing around a golf in the garage with the guys, you know, having some drinks, having some chuckles, you're gonna have a ton of fun with the Garmin R10. But if you really want to play, if you really would like to play more serious golf simulation, then you're starting to look at the overhead launch monitors. There are some others like SkyTrack, Mevo Plus, that will give you better spin numbers for sure than the Garmin R10. Again, they're 4 or 5 times the price, but you get what you pay for, and they don't come without some of their own little niggly issues too. They're not perfect. The ProTee is certainly not perfect either, but I can assure you, when you're investing in a launch monitor, you are getting what you pay for. The big argument that always comes back and forth between folks is, gee, are you getting that much more for that much more money? And that's a subjective thing that you have to decide yourself. How much accuracy do you need, or how much inaccuracy are you willing to accept, I guess. Okay, so I'm going to end it there. If you have any questions, please, as always, send me some comments. I'd ask that you please subscribe to my channel, like this video, as it certainly will help. And I will get more content out as I get time. But for now, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.